Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Kay. Good morning. Let me know if the volume is good. Good morning. Good morning. We'll get started in just a little bit. Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started in just a second. Just a second. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is Pastor Don. I just wanted to say good morning to everyone. Happy Sunday. We're so thankful for last Sunday. We had a nice pop-up service in Farmington Hills at Heritage Park. And so thank you for all of you who were there, who supported that event. Real quick announcement before we get right into our text. Next month, we'll do our August pop-up service. This August, we're planning to be back at in Novi at Wall Lake at Pavilion Shore Park. Good morning, V. Good morning, Inel. Good morning, Candace. Good morning, everyone. But we want to plan a church picnic, baptism. So get the word out. We're going to be getting announcements out for that. So we're looking forward to that. The date is yet to be selected, but looking forward to mid-August to be on that target. Our annual church picnic out there at Wall Lake on the Novi side of Wall Lake and Pavilion Shore Park. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be our next one. I just want to get that announcement out there so everyone really is aware of that next event. So real quick, let's jump right into the word. I'm really excited. I want to thank my buddy Jim Smith for the devotion this morning. And this text came out of that devotion. Isaiah 41:10. Isaiah 41:10. And it reads, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with the righteousness of my right hand." Isaiah 41:10, once again, "Fear not, I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you, and I will uphold you with the righteousness of my right hand." This text is a very powerful text coming out of Isaiah 41. It's very relevant for today and the season that we're in. Why this resonated with me for this particular morning, I was actually doing some preparation, and I came across this professor by the name of Dr. Pauline Boss. And Dr. Pauline Boss, she's an emeritus professor at the University of Minnesota. She's had a position also at Harvard. She's an educator, and her particular research was on this theory of ambiguous loss. This concept or this theory of ambiguous loss. She actually wrote a book entitled Ambiguous Loss, and very powerful, profound book. And ambiguous loss, it really stood out to me, particularly because ambiguous loss is a specific type of loss. And it's a loss that occurs without closure or clear understanding. It's a kind of loss that you experience when there's no closure to a particular grief or no closure to a particular event that happens in his life. And this kind of loss leaves the person searching for answers. It complicates life, it complicates relationships, it complicates our entire existence. And it complicates, and not only does it complicate it, it also delays the process of grieving and often results in unresolved grief. Her work on this particular theory is so fascinating. And again, this concept of ambiguous loss. So she begins to say it's very different from standard or traditional loss because there's no verification of death. In other words, there's no certainty, watch this, that life will return the way it used to be. In a sense, we are frozen in that grief. In a sense, we become paralyzed in that grief. In a sense, we become hindered, we become handicapped by the re-experiencing the recurring loss or experiencing of that loss. And that frozenness, it makes us unable to move or begin the process of healing because we face our loss fresh every single day. And we can just look around and the loss of normalcy with no certainty that things will ever return the way they used to be. We have individuals who are experiencing ambiguous loss, those individuals who could not say goodbye to their loved ones when their loved ones were in the hospital dying for coronavirus, and they had to communicate to them via an iPad or FaceTime or something to that effect. They didn't have the ability to hug them and connect, and now they're experiencing the ambiguity of that loss, the recurring nature of not being able to have closed the door. There's no particular understanding. They can't understand why, and that's ambiguous loss. Another example of ambiguous loss is really how students right now, not only students with the upcoming school year, the transformation, those high school seniors this year who did not have the ability to celebrate their accomplishments, to celebrate with their family and their classmates, the transitioning to another season of their life. But that season, for many students, that season is an unclosed season. And they experience this ambiguity, this ambiguous loss. And not only the students for going into school next year, but watch this, the administration, the teachers. They're dealing with the uncertainty of what is to come and the lack of closure of what used to be. And there's this anxiety with it, this anxiety that we experience that creates grief. The loss of normalcy, the loss of certainty, the loss of comfort, the loss. And in the midst of this ambiguous loss, in the midst of this ambiguous season, there is a word from the Lord here in Isaiah chapter 41. And it begins with, "Fear not, for I am with you." This is a beautiful reminder for me. This is a beautiful reminder for all of us today that God is present with us, no matter how dark the season is, no matter how lonely it gets, no matter how much loss we experience, no matter how uncertain tomorrow looks, no matter how uncertain the future is, no matter how crooked the road looks ahead, no matter how different, no matter how difficult, no matter how chaotic. Even when we forget that God is present, God wants us to know today that He is present with us. And sometimes I'm beginning to realize that God blesses us not only in what He gives us, but God also blesses us in what He takes away from us. God uses loss to begin to reveal that which is authentic and real, and that which shall remain in our lives. God wants us to know that not only will He bless us by what He gives us, but oftentimes there is a blessing when God removes from our life. And it's because of this loss that reveals that which is authentic. It also reveals the presence of God. When God begins to remove all of the icons and all of the creature comforts and all of the things that we've made idols of in our life, when God begins to remove those things from our life, that which remains, watch this, is that which is truly real, and that is God's love. And it's in those seasons, of disorientation. It's in those seasons of shaking, and those seasons of wilderness, and those seasons of tribulation that we oftentimes begin to experience the unwavering, the unchanging, the inescapable, the beautiful, the gracious, loving presence of our God. And if any one of you are feeling this morning lost in some type of way, the ambiguous loss, the ambiguity of loss, the loss of something that has still not closed, God wants you to know that he is right there with you where you are. And that's good news to me this morning. But not only does he say that he's present with you, that he also begins to say that I am your God. And this particular text right here was, though it was specifically written to Israel at a particular time in history, for a particular season of their life, to a particular people, this particular declaration in Isaiah is also relevant today. It is also real today. It is also applicable today in our lives. And he says, I am your God. Notice that he uses the possessive pronoun your, which makes this statement personal. It suggests that there is a possessiveness, there is ownership here in this relationship. There is a level of intimacy that may not be like any other relationships. He says, I am your God. He didn't just say, I am their God. He says, I am your God. And this is so true and relevant today because God says if he is our God, it also indicates that we are his children. That we are, in fact, identified by the relationship, the covenant relationship that we have with the Creator. And since you are children of the Most High God, and since you are identified through that covenant relationship, you must start seeing yourself and identifying yourself as a child of God. You must start recognizing the significance, the blessing, the relevance of that identity, of that label, of that name. It doesn't matter the name that is printed on your shirt or on your clothes or on your car. What matters is the name that is printed on your heart. And God says to you that there is a possessiveness. I am your God. I am your God. I am your God and you're my children. And the identification of being a child of God is so significant. It is so transformational. It is so empowering to begin to see yourself as a child of the Most High God, as a child of the Creator, as a child of Yahweh. And when you begin to live from that place, you begin to recognize that if anybody in your life sees a version of you that is anything other than what God has declared you to be as a child of the King, you have the right to reject, to disconnect, to delete. You have the right to eliminate any version or any identity that someone declares on your life because you know who you are and whose you are. And in fact, all of us are children of the Most High God. And I want you to begin to start seeing yourself every day you wake up in the morning, every day you have a bad day. I want you to remind yourself of who you really are. Don't live from the place of your situation. Don't live from the place of your condition. Don't live from the place of your lack. Don't live from the place of your mistakes of your past. Don't live from the place of bondage in your mind. And don't allow yourself to create a prison, a mental prison that paralyzes you. I want you to know that you are a child of God. And the beautiful thing about this is that not only says that I am present with you, not only are you connected to me in some specific way, there is a personal relationship and it's not contingent upon who you are. It's not contingent upon what you do. It is a contingent upon the graciousness, the inescapable love, the inexhaustible love of God. And not only does he says this, but he begins to move a little bit further in this Isaiah chapter 41. He begins to say, not only am I with you, not only am I your personal God, and you are my personal son or my personal daughter, there is a relationship, but he says, I will give you strength and help. Not only am I there, not only am I present, but in fact, I will also empower you. I will also strengthen you. I will provide support. I will help you. I will give you what you need. There is a specificity in how God relates to all of us. God knows exactly what you need, when you need it, how you need it. And in fact, if it hasn't come yet, God is preparing you. And I don't want you just to hold on because your blessing is just around the corner. This particular text got me excited because I had learned about this character, this anime character named Goku. Goku, those of you who have teenagers, you probably have heard of anime. You probably have heard of Goku. I heard about this character, and I had a conversation with my son because I knew he was in it, and I wanted to validate and understand who this character was. And he told me he was a character from Dragon Ball Z. And this character, Goku, has a unique ability. He has a unique ability to power up. He has a unique ability to strengthen himself in the time of weakness. But here's the revelation. When I begin to research Goku, y'all gonna shout on this. The anime character Goku from Dragon Ball Z, his name in Japanese, it has Japanese origins. And the name Goku in Japanese literally means awareness of emptiness. Awareness of emptiness. So Goku, whose name means awareness of emptiness, has this unique ability to power up, to get supernatural strength in order to accomplish that which he is designed or desiring to accomplish. And I want you to know that God has given you Goku strength, that God will empower you, that God will supernaturally power up you in any situation. God will be your help. And I mean, this is a good reminder because some of us are stressed right now. Some of you are multitasking. You're working from home. You have responsibilities, financial responsibilities. You have parenting responsibilities. You have educational responsibilities. Some of you are taking care of a loved one. Some of you are battling an illness, a sickness that seems to not go away. But I'm here to tell you that God will give you strength and be your help when you need it. He will power you up. But not only will he do this, Isaiah says, not only will God be with you, and not only is he your God, not only will he strengthen you and help you, but watch this, he will uphold you with his right hand, with his righteous hand. God will uphold you with his righteous hand. Listen, I want you to understand something about the beautiful nature of how God keeps you. The hand of God is so large, it's so enormous that this last particular verse is speaking directly to us. He says that God's righteous hand is the hand that will make things right. God will hold you. God will keep you. God will massage the situation, and that which is broken, that which is out of order, that which seems to be disoriented, God will, with his righteous hand, make things right. And that's a beautiful reminder today if you're dealing with the ambiguous loss of unresolved grief. That God makes this promise, not only to Israel, but he makes this promise to you that God will make things right. That God's hand is large enough, that God's hand is big enough, that God's hand is caring enough, that God's hand is wide enough to be able to make those broken things right in your life. God, not only can he fix finances, not only can he fix relationships, but watch this, God can fix the trauma that has occurred in your life from years ago, that God could actually press rewind, fix what needs to be fixed, and fast forward back to your present day, that God can do whatever God needs to do. And that's a shout right now. That's a reminder right now that all of us, including me, we ought to recognize that God will hold you with his righteous hand. Last Sunday, and I'm gonna close on this story. Last Sunday, I saw an example of this with Chris DeYounke Jr. We had featured Chris Jr. On the stage, and Chris is a 11-year-old young man who is a Rubik's Cube genius. He's a Rubik's Cube genius. I asked him to show us his talent, and he brought us Rubik's Cube. And so a Rubik's Cube, for those of you who don't know, it's basically a puzzle. It's a problem, and it's a puzzle that needs to be solved, essentially. And so I took the Rubik's Cube and I mixed the Rubik's Cube up really well. And the assignment that I gave him, I said, I want to see how fast that you can solve this problem. I want to see how quick, how thorough, how accurate can you solve this Rubik's Cube? And then I turned around and I mixed the Rubik's Cube up so well, and I gave it to him. I actually got my watch out, went to the stopwatch on my phone, and I started the stopwatch, and I watched this young man with the problem that needed to be solved in his hand. And I watched, not only did he begin to solve the problem, and he was solving it, watch this, not just with his whole hand, but there was a delicacy in his fingers. There was what amazed me, what Chris was doing, he was using his fingers to turn the Rubik's Cube to solve the brokenness of the problem. He didn't just use his whole hand, but he used the delicacy of his fingers to turn and twist and turn and twist. There wasn't a lot of arm action. There wasn't a lot of hand action. He was so delicate. He was so attentive. He was so caring. But he was quick. And by the time, less than 10 seconds with the specific delicacy turning of his fingers, he solved the brokenness of the problem. And that reminded me of this particular text here in Isaiah chapter 10, that God would use his right hand, his righteous hand, to make what is broken in our life right. God has the ability. He knows how smooth he needs to be. He knows how to speak to your situation. He knows what you need. He knows the timing of when you need it. And right now, this is encouraging for so many of you right now who have been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting on the Lord and waiting on the Lord and waiting on the Lord. And God wants me to give you this word today to encourage you that he will uphold you. He will make right that which is broken in your life. And this morning, he declares this. He says, listen, fear not. Fear not, because I'm your God. Fear not, because I will give you strength and help. Fear not, because I will make right with my righteous hand that which is broken. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love. As children of God, as children of the Most High God, not allow fear to be the emotion that cripples you, but the emotion, the feelings that God wants us to be able to experience and live from as true children of the Most High God is of power, authority, and love. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not get weary. I want you to know tonight, this morning, that God wants you to be able to deal with the ambiguous losses of our life. This season may not change. This may be a prolonged season, and I'm telling you, there are some things that may be permanent. But God says, don't worry about that. Don't worry about how the next school year is going to impact your everyday life. Don't worry about how having to wear masks everywhere you go is going to impact your future. He says, fear not, for I am with you. Fear not, because I am your God and you're my child. Fear not, because I will give you what you need, even if the season never returns to normal. I will give you what you need to make it in the new season. Fear not. I'm going to hold you up with my righteous hand. In other words, whatever is broken, my hand is gentle enough, my hand is precise enough to be able to make right that which is wrong. God bless you, everyone. I love you. Isaiah 41:10. Isaiah 41:10. Let this be your devotion today. Let this be an encouragement to you today. I want you to mirror this in your everyday life. Try to reflect on this, because you may or may not know, but many of us are experiencing the ambiguity of loss, the ambiguous loss, the loss of certainty. And it's this problem, it is this tension that is causing so many of us to experience a side of ourselves that God has never intended. And he's reminding you today that he is your God, and yet you are his children. God bless you until next week. We love you. We're going to be live next Sunday again, and then we'll giving you a date about August for the next pop-up service at Novi Park. God bless you. We love you. Till next week. Bye-bye.